Hello, my friends. How are you today? Thank you so much for taking the time to jump on live with me. This is an awesome day to make a great announcement. And you probably saw this if you've been seeing anything with Her Voice Movement lately. Yesterday, we posted this, and today we are talking about it just for a few minutes today. But we have officially filed the lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles. And we have a lawsuit coming up for the city of Seattle coming very, very soon. You'll be seeing more information about that. But this is part two of some announcements we've been making. And part one was family conference in Pasadena, California. But this part two was for us to tell you that it's officially been filed, the lawsuit against Los Angeles city, the city of Los Angeles. So this is what we're doing. And I think many of you, and I'm seeing your comments here, many of you understand why we're doing this, and you understand the gravity of this, and you know what happened during Mayday. But just in case you're new to this broadcast, basically in a nutshell, what happened was we asked for a permit, put in all the paperwork for a permit to Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles, and we were on delay basically for that. And we found out that there is something called denial by delay. It's not just people not getting back to you and not emailing you back, it's actually by design. And so we were pushed off for a little bit, and then we were basically told that we could not have Hollywood Boulevard. We were not given a reason for not getting that street, but we were told right before the event that we could go to another street in Hollywood, a street that there are hardly any pedestrians, there are hardly any foot traffic. And so we said, no, we really want to have Hollywood Boulevard. And so many of you know the story of what happened. We were able to get on a Zoom with the lieutenant and the fire, police, the city, and let them know that we would be coming to Hollywood Boulevard regardless of not getting that permit. And we asked them for help because we knew that, hey, if we do this together, it's going to go better. But all the ins and outs of this lawsuit, we're going to discuss this a little bit more tomorrow. I'm going to have Ross Johnston on here, and we're going to give you guys more detail on this, on what happened, why we're doing what we're doing. But today, what I would just want to share with you is that the lawsuit has officially been filed. We are asking for your prayers, of course, and also to answer the question why. I think most people really understand that this needs to be done. But for some people, maybe this is brand new. Like, hey, I thought we were Christians. What are we doing, fighting back, right? Well, there is a side of the kingdom that must stand at a time like this. And what we know is that we were not given Hollywood Boulevard, and it's a discrimination case because Pride was granted their permit just a week later, and they were given, the red carpet rolled out for them. They had a beer garden, they had the stage, they had the entertainment, they had the singing. We were told you can have a street over there, go to the kiddie table, go to the back of the bus, so to speak. And when you're there, by the way, you can only have a couple hours. And we don't want you singing long lengths of time because that is not First Amendment speech. Wow. Felt like we got thrown back into 2020. So we are not asking for special privileges that other people don't have. We are asking for the same privileges that are in our Constitution, which is the freedom of speech. So we went legally, lawfully to Hollywood Boulevard. Many of you blocked off that street with us between Orange and Highland. And we physically blocked off that street, peacefully got the cars out of that one block within 5 minutes, and everybody worked together. And the gospel was preached. We worshiped Jesus. And I'm hearing stories. Even this week, I heard a story. Let me tell you about this that happened on Hollywood Boulevard. We were only there for 90 minutes. We had to throw all the speakers and everything on the concrete, no stage, nothing. It was just, set up and go because of not being able to have a permit. And then we, of course, had to agree to leave the street at 6:30. And so because we were shut off from that, and because we were not granted that permit with Pride Festival having all of their permits granted the following week, we are suing the city of Los Angeles. But I do want to share this, in all of that, there's some really cool stories, some really awesome things that happened. A friend of mine just shared this week, but basically there was a gal that was up in her apartment on Hollywood Boulevard, and she heard the sound of worship, saw people gathering, and she identifies as a lesbian, and her roommates, some other people apparently said, don't go down there, the Christians are gathering, they're praying. And she thought to herself, you know what, I actually need prayer. I need something, I'm pretty desperate. And so she came down to the street, and she was met with prayer, met with people that were loving and kind, and they prayed for her, and she ended up giving her life to Jesus and getting water baptized. And this is the kind of thing that the enemy is against. He doesn't want people being set free from chains and bondage, from suffering. And so here's what's happening, folks. I want to ask you this question. If you are struggling, and I know most of you aren't, but there's a few people that struggle with the idea of Christians standing up. If somebody stole your vehicle, you went out, maybe you went to the grocery store, you come out, and God forbid, that this is just an example, but we never want this to come true. But let's say your car is missing. Are you just going to say, well, I'm a Christian, so I'm not going to file a police report. I'm not going to, see who took it. No, you're going to do everything to get your car back. And you're also wanting to make sure that the person who stole your car comes under accountability to the law, because this. You don't want that person to necessarily suffer or be, drastically, radically punished. You're not wanting them to be unloved and hated. But what you're doing is you're wanting that person to come under accountability. Why? So that they don't go do it again and again and again and again, right? Because when people are not made accountable to the laws of the land, they're going to do it again. And what we know is if we just say, okay, fine, have that one block, Hollywood Boulevard, fine, we'll just take the other one. What we're doing is we are saying that we are okay as Christians, that our voice is limited, and our freedom of speech and our freedom to express our beliefs as Christians is not welcome on that. It's not okay. It's okay that we're silenced on that street. Well, you know what? We're not okay with that. And so the reason that we are coming with this case is not just because we want every dollar back for our donors. We take our donations very, very serious. Some of you put your hard-earned money into that event being accomplished. And you know what? It didn't get done the way it was supposed to. And when we get those funds back from this lawsuit, we're going to come back to Hollywood Boulevard and we're going to celebrate and we're going to do it all over again. But even more than that, what we know is that this will be a landmark case where when another church or a Christian group or somebody wants to come in and preach the gospel on Hollywood Boulevard, do you think the city is going to think twice about it? You bet they will. Because when these cases go out and justice is done, what does it do? It preserves and helps continue the voices of people that are preaching the gospel, not just in that area, but other areas. So we take these cases and we are able to leverage them in other states and other cities where they're him-hawing around and not getting back to us. And, we're asking them for a permit. And then guess what? They don't like to talk to you until the week before your event. Why? Because they know that you're desperate and you'll take some little spot where your voice really won't be effective. And they try to push you out somewhere like that. And so we're going to be able to say, hey, listen, just for reference, we took action against the city of Los Angeles, and here's the outcome of that. This might be something that you want to consider saying yes to. Not because we're bullying and not because we're demanding something that's any different than anybody else expressing their freedom of speech in this country. See, we have a beautiful country. We have this incredible country. And we have this constitution that protects the freedom of speech. That's why we have, on purpose, areas designated for our protesters. Why? Because they deserve a right to express their beliefs. We want them to come and do that. We want them to have an expression of their beliefs. Do we agree with them? Absolutely not. But that's not what is so cool about America. Is it's not about the freedom of speech where we all agree. It's the freedom of speech. This is not something that we should just flush down the toilet and say, well, whatever, I'm not going to fight for that. No, I am going to fight for that, because that's one of the things that makes America absolutely outstanding. I believe it's the best country in the world. Even though we've been through so much in the last several years, I believe that America is one of the absolute most outstanding countries that God has blessed. And I don't want to take it for granted that we have the freedom of speech, not just as Christians, but anybody. And so when that freedom of speech gets violent, like it did in Seattle, which is another conversation, we'll be having that conversation with you soon. But when that freedom of speech goes from peaceful to, and it can be a peaceful protest, we want that. But when it goes to violence, now we're in a totally different conversation. So we want to preserve this, the freedom of speech. We want to act on the Constitution. We want to protect the Constitution for the church, for the body, for my children, for my children's children. And so that we know that this case isn't just about Mayday 2025 of this last year. It's about the gospel of Jesus Christ going out. And I believe that this will pave a way for millions of people to hear the gospel. I believe that with my whole heart. We never came into this looking for trouble. We never wanted trouble, right? We wanted to stand for family and preach the gospel and see families set free and see people set free of their chains and their bondage. And that happened. But for whatever reason, the Lord allowed these things to happen. And I believe that in his hands, this type of adversity and these type of challenges are going to be used for his good, and it's going to be have a multiplied effect, and the gospel will be preached to millions of more people because of this. So keep us in your prayers. Join me tomorrow. I'll be with Ross Johnston tomorrow on this same channel at 4 p.m. That's Wednesday. Okay, make sure that you share this with people, because I want to make sure that the people that you know that'll never run across my channel, that'll never run across this announcement, I want you to be the one to use your influence and your voice to make sure that people know about this. Now, before I jump off, I want to make sure that you know we are headed to Pasadena, California for family conference. God said, you've fought for family, you've stood for family, and now I want you to equip families. We are equipping families in Pasadena, California. This will be Her Voice Movement. Ross Johnston will be joining us. Ivan Tate will be joining us. We have Robert Henderson with the Courts of Heaven joining us. And we even have Jessica Robbins and a team of women that are, and they're going to be taking elementary school kids 7 and up and taking them in their own sessions. Your family will never be the same. We're taking the junior high and high school, and we're doing sessions with them that are unique to where they are in life. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. If you're single, you need to come. We have a single session. You never know who you're going to meet there. We're going to be praying for you, praying for financial adversity to break off your life. We're going to be praying for the parenting adversity to break off your life. Maybe you've been single and you're like, I just don't understand this wilderness of singleness I'm in. We're going to be praying for you and going to war for you. Family conference isn't just a comfy, cute little conference. This is actually for us to get a lot done. If you come on your own, that's awesome. You'll be representing your family. If you're single, come on, join in, because you're going to get a family impartation. If you come with, 3 grandkids or, 2 of your kids, do it. Like, come with your girlfriends, however you have to get there. So this is at hervoicemovement.com. Please register for this conference. It's very soon, October 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's going to be absolutely epic. It's going to be at the Ambassador Auditorium in Pasadena, California. All right, you take care. God bless you. Please join tomorrow. We will be live with Ross Johnson and myself, 4 p.m. Standard Time, same spot here. All right, spread the word. God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.